Are we all comfortable? Can you hear my voice to the back also? Nice. Welcome everyone to the ReBoot Food Festival. We are meeting here today to commemorate the 10th anniversary of WePlanet Finland. Can I have a hand for... My name is Taina Törmänen and I'll be the captain of this very ecological ship, at least till 4 p.m. No, 5 p.m., yes. And for the full decade, WePlanet has been spreading technology, positive solutions to climate change. And we have had major success all around the world. We have chosen to dedicate this festival to the topic of sustainable food production, specifically cellular agriculture, as we believe it to be one of the key technologies that will enable us to decouple humanity from the environment. But before we go to that, I have some information about practical things. For example, emergency exits are marked with the green sign. You can see the closest one here and the one at the end of the shop, and of course at the entrance lobby. Also the toilets are nearby the entrance lobby, and there's also one in the second floor. Schedule. We're gonna have some speeches until 11:30, and then we're gonna have lunch. 3 p.m. there's gonna be a coffee break, and like I said, 5 p.m. the seminar part will be done for today. People responsible, we have Taina Törmänen here and Carolina there if you have any questions. If you would like to discuss any things about science, please turn to basically anyone else but me for today. The food will be vegan, so hopefully it's good for everyone. The dinner is only for the people that bought the premium ticket for this event. That being said, I believe we'll have a wonderful event and leave with more knowledge and contacts than when we arrived. With help of a long list of great speakers and panelists, all here to help us figure out how to liberate nature and elevate humanity. And there are some people that would like to say a word. Now for the beginning, the first two will be chairman of WePlanet International, Adam Błażowski, and co-founder of WePlanet Finland, Lauri Muranen. Please welcome.
Okay, let's see how this works. I have two microphones. I assume this one goes to the small one goes to the camera, but I'm going to use the microphone so people at the back can hear me. So, first of all, welcome to Finland. I work in the nuclear energy field for a Finnish startup company called Steady Energy. We're building and designing small modular reactors designed for heating and to sell heat-only reactors. It's actually a pretty easy thing for a Finn to do. Our basic sales pitch goes like this. You know, in Finland, 3 months it's cold. The rest 9 it's fucking cold. So we need a lot of heat. You're happy to be here during a cold period rather than the other one. But anyway, I was there 10 years ago. I think there were eight of us. Me and, for example, Rauli Partanen over there, some others, we met at Helsinki-Vantaa Airport, of all places, to put this new environmental organization together. And over that period of time, I would say that a lot of things has been achieved. For instance, I mentioned that I work for a nuclear company, nuclear SMR company. I don't think the whole business would be possible without eco-modernists or WePlanet activities here in Finland and elsewhere. But one thing that I've been thinking about regarding WePlanet organization, that is that do we have any impact? WePlanet or Eco-Modernist Society in Finland, we are not the kind of organization who sits down on the road and stops traffic. Not everybody has to be like that, but it doesn't mean that we can't have impact. And I'd like to go back to the sort of basic assumptions of WePlanet Finland. And first one being that we can't assume that people will just like that give up their high quality of life. It's almost the same as you would be going to high school students and saying that don't have sex. You just just refuse sex. That's the contraception that we suggest you have. You can't assume that people do those things. The other assumption being that out of the roughly 8 billion people out there, we can't assume that people want to live in poverty for their lives. They want to improve their lives. So, following from these two basic assumptions, we come to the situation, okay, how do we, like Taina said, how do we decouple consumption of natural resources, consumption of energy from the degradation of environment? And it's actually a pretty simple number game after you accept those basic assumptions. And that has to lead to open-mindedness towards different sorts of technologies, because it's technology in the end that can accommodate 8 to 10 billion people with comfortable quality of life. But I would say that it isn't necessary for WePlanet members to block traffic. We can do much more than that. We can actually, and I can see that already it's taking place in Finland as well as elsewhere, but we can influence not only other NGOs, but we can influence the thinking among people, countries, or governments as well as businesses. So it's much more subtle, but I would say that the end results are not at all. The end results are pretty astonishing. And like I said, my job today wouldn't be possible. It wouldn't be possible to go and tell local people in Helsinki that your homes will soon be heated with small underground modular nuclear reactors. But because the groundwork has been done, we're actually seeing not NIMBY, but yes in my backyard, YIMBY phenomenon in Finland these days. And I would say that this is especially due to the excellent and really groundbreaking work that WePlanet Finland has done, as well as the organization at large. Thank you for coming over to Finland. I'm so happy to see you all here and enjoy this very nice and warm day.
Friends, hello. I'm so privileged to be here with you. I want to talk very shortly about conflicts between nature and humanity. And as we are in this wonderful setting, you can only imagine that people like to be and like to live in this kind of setting, but this already belongs to nature and animals, so that sometimes these conflicts appear. And one of this example of such a conflict is between big, large bears and people, because people throw trash and the bears are usually eating it. And this is not good because they get familiarized and they eat things that they shouldn't. So in an interview with an engineer who would be designing these kind of trash cans, they asked him, how do you do this? How do you design a trash can so that it's not good for bears and good for people? And he said the most frustrating thing is that these sets overlap. The smartest bear is smarter than the most stupid human. I think this frustration is our WePlanet daily life, because we tackle these conflicts between climate and nature and humanity in this triangle. And how do we find out the solution? And WePlanet Finland, an eco-modernist of Finland, I just want to assure you, you've been instrumental, you influenced all the other countries, in Poland, in Germany, in Africa, in Bangladesh. Your thinking, you were the first big national society that came up with a lot of ideas that transpired to everywhere else. And this frustration and this need to find solution is something that's important. I always like to say, I like to do things that make sense. Well, this makes sense. What we do here and how we activate ourselves, how we spend our time, this is important because for many, many years, the green movement did not have solutions and it did not have answers and did not even bother to look for them. Because, why? Because they thought there is only one future. There is only one, this is what we talked in Brussels. There is one future, nothing else can happen. We will decarbonize. All the scenarios of the decarbonizations are actually recipes, and the future will go one way. Well, it doesn't. In Brussels, we talked about history that is being done. Wow, over the last year, a lot of history happened. We really have a situation that democracy is not winning right now. The rule of law is not winning right now. We have to argue with people who have genuine and strong arguments against some of the principles that we have. In America, you have an anti-vaccine person responsible for the health department. Germany, in a democratic movement, committed energy suicide by destroying nuclear energy, and it was a genuine democratic will. This is how democracy works. And we have to find out how to keep on going and how to defend these principles for ourselves. For me, myself, I have took two things from the Finnish eco-modernists. One thing that I took from the Finns was this: if you're wrong and you change your mind, it's nothing to be ashamed of and it's something to be celebrated. It is such a powerful conviction and a ritual that you can exercise in your life. This is so valuable. And the second thing is, the truth does not lie in the middle. And a lot of people will say, oh, I'm listening to both sides. I'm listening to one and the other, and I try to figure out. A lot of people are lost. What is the truth? The truth does not lie in the middle. It lies where it does. And the trick is to find it out. This is what we are doing as WePlanet, and it's fun. So thank you. I'm really happy and excited for whatever's coming up.
Thank you. We'll